Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Joshua Booma, and welcome back to another new YouTube and first debut episode of Masters of Their Craft. This series is going to be built to dive a little bit deeper into what it takes to become a master of the craft. This is something that I eventually want to develop into way more than just gaming, but for today's debut episode, we are in gaming and we are starting with the video game Rocket League. For those of you guys that don't know, Rocket League is one of the toughest games out there right now in terms of mechanical skill, and it is something that takes tons and tons and thousands of hours to master. So, without further ado, let's introduce our first guest. She is a content creator for Ghost Gaming. She is mostly a variety streamer, but you can also catch her streaming Rocket League. And she has currently amassed a following of 16,000 across all socials. All right, guys, without further ado, let's introduce our first special guest to Masters of the Craft, Ghost Hana. How are we doing today, Miss Ghost Hana?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We are ready to knock out the debut episode of this series, so I'm excited. All right, why don't we begin with you telling everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Hana or Nebbie. I'm a content creator and streamer for Ghost Gaming. I mainly play Rocket League pretty badly, but we are venturing out into some variety, some League of Legends, some Valorant, maybe trying Apex soon. Some really bad Fortnite, like embarrassingly bad. But
Fortnite's gonna be popping in like a season when they bring the old map back. I'm gonna be
that's when I'm playing it.
definitely gaming for the nostalgia.
That's
100%.
when I'm getting on.
All right, so when did you begin playing Rocket League, and what got you hooked onto it?
I want to say I started playing Rocket League 5 years ago. No, that's a lie. Probably 6 years ago. I don't know how I'm still plat/diamond after 6 years, but we're not going to talk about that. A lot of my friends played Rocket League just on Xbox growing up, and I actually got into Rocket League and just like esports in general. This is such a stupid story, but this guy that I was like in love with in 8th grade was really good at Rocket League, and he 1v1 Squishy was in one of his videos or something, and so I wanted to impress him, so I was like, I'm gonna get an Xbox and I'm gonna get Rocket League. So at the time, Rocket League was not free to play. I convinced my dad to buy me Rocket League and just started playing from there. I was awful. All my friends, we were all like silver. None of us were good. We were just having fun, having a good time after school. And my controller is so jacked up, and the stick drift on it is really bad on my Xbox controller. And I was trying to tab down into the play button, and I ended up hitting the Live Now Esports tab the Rocket League has. I sat there on my couch for hours and watched this just insane gameplay. Me and my friends, like we're terrible, so it's like you're watching all of these cars just fly through the air and hit crazy shots, and I'm like, oh my god, what did he just do? And it was just riveting. Like honestly, I just sat there and watched it for hours and hours. And I saw at the bottom they had like the little live tweets that they used to do of like people tweeting about RLCS. So I made a Twitter account and then got just into the whole esports thing. I just live tweeted about games incessantly until we got somewhere. It ended up working. 5 years later, I'm still playing Rocket League, still playing it pretty poorly, but still playing nonetheless.
So I'm curious, and I'm sure some viewers are curious, but are you and this dude you were into still together?
No, we are not. It was a little 8th grade relationship. No, it lasted like 2 months, but we're still good friends, and he is involved in like the collegiate Rocket League scene in Georgia, and we actually talked the other day, and I told him, I don't think he ever knew that he was the reason that I really like got into stuff. I told him, I was like, yeah, you know, just signed to Ghost, did all of this because I was obsessed with you in 8th grade. So we had a good little time to catch up about it, and it was pretty silly, but that is no longer happening. That would have been a great story.
I was gonna say, but it would have been really wholesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you begin streaming, and what made you want to pursue it as a career?
So I think I started streaming May. God, what's the exact date? It's either 18th or 24th of 2018? Question mark. I should know that. Like as a streamer, I should totally know that.
I don't even know when I started. Yeah, like the exact date. It's hard
too long ago. Way too long ago.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to do something different. I was never one to want a 9 to 5, and I grew up watching all these YouTubers, especially like I was a big Dan TDM girly as a kid, like Dan and Phil Games. I was watching all of the gaming channel. I was watching all of the makeup channels, and I was like, I could be a YouTuber. When I was a kid, I made an Animal Jam. Do you know what Animal Jam is?
I do not.
Animal Jam is like this. Not MMO. It's like a little browser game for kids, basically. Okay. And I made an Animal Jam YouTube channel. And hey, I would like to say I got it up to like 150 subs but I was like 7, maybe I was 8, and my mom was like, "No!" I did have to delete her. But I think that for me was like, I need to do something like this. And I went away from that for a few years. I was going to be an orthodontist. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be this, and whatever. Every kid thinks they're going to be 8 billion things. You know, you can really stick
100%.
down to one. That was always me. I've always had so many interests, and it's hard for things to really stick for me. And gaming was the one thing that finally stuck. And as I grew a little bit more on Twitch and met more people, I'd have really, really good friends tell me, like, I think this is it for you. Like, you can do this. This is something that you can achieve if you really work at it. Like, I think you'd be good at this.
Yeah.
And so I honestly did not really take it seriously until somewhat recently, just because, like, in high school, I was really busy all the time. My mornings were 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. because I was in every club and every extracurricular and always at school. So I never really had time to get into streaming.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's
wish
tough.
I streamed more during COVID. I really wish I did.
Same, bro.
Bro, missed opportunity as hell.
I feel like everyone
But
had so much time on their hands then. And I was
oh
like,
my
why
gosh.
wasn't like I think back, I'm like, why wasn't I streaming?
No,
Like,
I was playing Among Us, but was I streaming it? No.
yeah.
Could I have been streaming it? Mhm. 'Cause those games were funny, I will say.
Yeah, and Among Us
Anyway,
popped off too.
that was probably the most fun I've ever had, honestly. Like, Among Us quarantine was crazy.
It was definitely the
But
game to be streaming too, like
that's what I'm
100%.
saying. Missed our shot. Let's rewind. Let's build a time machine, and then we're gonna rewind
We'll
the
go
whole
to
thing.
Among Us and Fortnite, like easy.
Yeah,
Let's get it
easy
going.
viewers. But yeah, gaming was the one thing that finally stuck, and I've just really been enjoying it. And since college started, you know, I've been able to build my own schedule
Yeah.
and just really figure out where I can work streaming in. My freshman year, I was just kind of like, stream when I can, and would post maybe one TikTok every month or something. Like, I really was not going for it like I wanted to. And this summer
Yeah.
and like the end of my freshman year, I was like, you know what? I need to do this. Like, this is something I've put a lot of time and effort into, and I love it, and I don't need to stray away from it. Like, I need to dedicate myself and get it worked out.
Yeah.
Because whatever I tried, but I am no longer giving myself the out of saying it's just a hobby. Like, I'm going with
Exactly.
I want to do this full time, and I'm going to do this full time because, you know, manifest. And right now it is full time. You know, it's college student full time though. That's completely different than real
Yeah.
life, real adult full time. But for now it is college student full time, and I'm perfectly okay with that, and it's going really well.
That's definitely something I can relate to because I was also somebody who was like 9 to 5. Nah, like I knew that wasn't for me. Like since I was very young, so
Mhm.
streaming is something that a lot of people still don't think is something you can do as like a career. They don't see it as like a job, but it is most definitely a job, especially for how many hours you have to put in. Okay, so would you say that you had a passion for streaming, or you grew a passion for streaming, and then what would you say that your experience streaming Rocket League differed versus high level players or professional players who tend to dominate the category?
I'm gonna start with the first part of that question.
Yeah.
My passion for streaming like ebbs and flows. Like, at its core, I love it, and I love doing it because I'm a big people person. Like, I've been told I would talk to a brick wall. Don't really know if that's a compliment or not, but we'll take it. So it is something I feel like I'm just naturally very good at. I like speaking. I'm good at public speaking. I'm good at connecting with people.
Yeah.
So I think I'm passionate about it in the sense that I will always love it and just have it, like, it has a special place in my heart. However, I think now that I'm looking at it as more of a job rather than just a hobby, like, it can be a little more taxing. And on some days I'm like, wow, like, this is not what I need to do today or what I want to do. Well, this is not what I want to do today, but this is what
Yeah.
I need to do today. You know what I mean? So it does, like, some of the glamour, I don't wanna say glamour 'cause it's the wrong word, but some of that kind of fades after a little bit, especially I have been doing it for 5 years, you know, like, I started when I was 13, and at that point,
A
it was
long
just like,
time.
exciting, 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 like, "Yay!" But there's some days where it's like, "Okay, viewership's really low," or ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, and it's like, sometimes I think, "What if I just did the college thing and did nothing else? Like, how would my life look? How would I be?" And so it's hard not to think about that when you're in that situation, but I would
For
say
sure.
that over time, my passion has grown exponentially. Like, I've gotten to know more people in the community, and I'm just, like, really thankful for the opportunities I've been afforded through streaming because, like,
Yeah.
genuinely it has changed my life and all the people I've gotten to meet. But there are some days where I'm like, "Bro," and I
It's a
think that
lot.
might not even be passion, but that might just be my lack of discipline or just not feeling it some days. Like, some days you're just not feeling life,
Yeah.
and that's okay. You know what I mean? And as for, like, my experience rather than a professional player's experience, I would say it differs greatly because because I'm not good at the game, I can kind of play whatever, and viewership stays the same because I'm not known for being a freestyler, double, triple, musty, flip, reset, psycho, whatever.
Yeah.
bullshit mechanic name it is, you know what I mean? So it's like, I can do kind of whatever I want and still have the people there and still have fun and still enjoy streaming. So I think it gives me a lot more flexibility as a creator, and
Definitely.
more opportunities for growth. Because I think if you take any pro player, like their only game that they're really streaming is Rocket League. Like you'll see an occasional like Phasmophobia with other pros or something, but
Yeah.
that's not their main content. And I don't think they have as much flexibility in that. I think they would see a steep viewer
Drop off.
decrease
Yeah.
if they did that, you know? So I think that's a little bit of different experience. It's also as well as like the chatters we have in our chats. Their chatters are asking for tips and how do you do this and what's the best camera sensitivity? And my chatter's like, I got McDonald's for lunch. What are you eating today? You know what I mean? Like it's very, it's very much like me and my chat, I think would be more connected than that of a pro in their chat because we're bonding more about life and shared experiences and dumb stories and this and
Yeah.
gossip and whatever. But a lot of the pros chats are just dominated by I'm 13, please, how do I rank up? I've been bronze for 8 years, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I honestly think I have a better time streaming because of that, because I'm not stuck or tied down to one game. Because if I'm sick of Rocket League, you best believe I'm not playing that game.
So I can definitely speak to that as somebody who is an SSL streamer. It gets really annoying sometimes because you can only do so much as a streamer, like I guess shutting that type of stuff down, and it is very rampant in Rocket League's community of people like just coming and asking high level players to boost them, or can you play with
Boost.
me? Can you teach me this mechanic? Teach me can you do this on command? It's kind of like they're just barking things at you, like
Yes,
you know
like you're a little robot.
you're yeah, like I'm a robot. And then at the same time, it is a lot more difficult to find just those natural conversations like you're talking about, like, oh, I just got McDonald's. Like I
Yeah.
actually learned to cherish those types of viewers because my viewership is overly like saturated with, people asking me to do this or how'd you get here or how many hours does it take to do this. So
That would frustrate me to no end, I'm not even gonna lie, like,
yeah.
this sounds terrible, and I promise I'm a good person. The words, "Can I play? Can we play? Can we
Oh
queue?" Like,
yeah.
that's banned in my chat. Like, it's
I don't
literally
blame you,
banned
man.
words in stream because it makes me so mad, and then people, like, start using numbers and letters to type it, and it's like, "Girl, did you not get the hint? Did
They
you not
find
get
the
the hint?"
workaround. Yeah.
No, like, that sounds bad because it's like
No, it's
I'm a
not
solo
bad.
queuer though. I think we've talked about this previously, but like I
Yeah.
only solo queue. So in my chat, oh, this is annoying. A lot of my chat, like new people would be like, "Can I boost you?" No. No.
It's like you
I
want a
don't
hard
want
game.
that.
Yeah, no.
I know, I don't want that.
Get the
Bye.
hell out of here.
Bye. I don't know. I like playing the game and improving at my own speed, and that may be slower, but I have fun doing it. I'm enjoying Rocket League. Like I can play an hour of ones and not hate my life because
Yeah.
it's not that serious for me, which I enjoy. Like if Rocket League became that serious for me, I think I would enjoy streaming and just existing, quite frankly, a lot less.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure on you when you play at a higher level because people like when they go to your stream expecting gameplay, it's like even if you lose a game, you'll definitely get somebody in there who's like, "You're trash. I would have won
I
that,"
think
or
you're
like,
bad.
you should have
What do you
done
mean?
this. The backseat gaming goes insane. They're like, "Why
Mhm.
would you do that? Why would you?" So it is definitely annoying. And then in terms of what you said for like the viewership drop off, that's something I definitely can relate to because
Mhm.
I always knew I wanted to be more than just a Rocket League streamer or known for
Yeah.
Rocket League. But now when I do like variety stuff, uh, there's definitely a significant drop off in people who are gonna watch.
On Twitch, it's obviously pretty different, but I will say I still do experience that as well. Like as much as I'm like, I can pretty much do variety and be fine. The second I play League of Legends,
People
bye.
just dead. Yeah.
Everybody's like, "The fuck is this?" I'm like, "I don't understand this game. Too many buttons.
They're
Point and
like,
click.
Where's the ball? Where's the
No.
boost?"
Boost pad, boost pad."
So when we talk about streaming, there's always the conversation of maintaining consistency and discipline. How would you speak towards that?
I actually talked about this on stream today. Something
Really?
that I have been thinking about the last few days is reframing the idea of discipline to instead the idea of being stubborn. Because I struggle
I like that.
with okay, TBH, it's the same exact thing. I just rewired it in my brain, right? So I'm a very stubborn person. Like I like proving people wrong, which sounds bad, but like when somebody's like, you could never do X, Y, and Z, like I want to do it twice. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's just kind
Yeah.
of how I operate, and that is bad to like operate out of a spite fueled thing. But I'm a very positive person. Like it's not in a hateful way. It's in like a I'm proving to myself that like other people's opinions are not of importance to me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So this idea of discipline is all the time talked about in streaming, and, like, I do think consistency is important. I will speak on that forever. I
For
will
sure.
always say, like, you need to be consistent. As much as that sucks to hear and as much as that's annoying because everyone's just regurgitating that, you have to be consistent, and that's just that. If you want this to be a job, want this to be a career, to build that audience, you need to be there when they expect you to be there, right? Like, you just have to. But going back instead of discipline, I like to say I'm being stubborn about it because to me, in my brain, that goes back to, like, this not doing it out of spite, but doing it to defy expectations that may or may not have been placed on you, right? And I am a
Okay.
stubborn person. Like, I do obviously concede. I'm a very big people person. Like, I want to hear people's opinions, blah, 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 blah. But I also stay very true to myself. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, you don't want to stream today. But it's like in my mind, any doubts I have in my mind, like, okay, let's say one day I have a lot of homework. I'm really bogged down. I'm feeling terrible. I'm like, okay, this part of your brain right now is telling you, you're not going to stream today. Why would you stream today? You have so much to do. And the part of my brain that's the discipline or stubbornness is going to be like, of course I'm going to stream today. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That, even though I have other things going on, I work through it and I stream anyways. Like, I get it done. And that is me being stubborn in my goals and saying, I'm going to hit this goal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be
Yeah.
consistent and just keeping on that train. But that being said, I do think it's important to, like, take time for yourself
Oh,
because
100%.
content creation, like, it's not a 9 to 5. It is a 24/7, you know, like, you're always doing something.
Always thinking
It
about
doesn't
it.
really end. Right. Like, I responded to an email yesterday at like 3 a.m. and I kind of felt bad because I meant to schedule the email, but I instead just sent it. And I bet that person was like, what
Why are
the
they
hell
on
is
this
she
degen ass schedule?
why she respond at 3 a.m.? What's wrong with her? But I do think you need to, like, schedule in those breaks for yourself too. I am, like, a psychopath Google Calendar user, and I'm very serious about it. Like, if I show you my Google Calendar right now,
Mm.
it is to the hour of everything I'm doing all day. Like, it is very,
Wow.
like, this is how I operate, and I actually need to I have a lot of downtime in here that I need to add things onto that I haven't yet, but that's
Yeah.
how I keep that consistency and discipline. Because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, if I have X amount of things to do today, go put them in your calendar. At this time, you're gonna do this. At this time, you're gonna do that." And it gets it done. Like, I've been tearing through some to-do lists. My to-do list right now,
I love my
tearing
to-do
through them.
list. Love it.
Oh, I've been sticky notes have been game changing for me. Like, because I'm really bad about using an agenda. Like, I won't do it. So
Yeah.
I know I go to my desk every day, put that thing of sticky notes on my desk, and I'm like, dang, that's what I got to get done today. Let's do it. And I
Just
like
slap some
checking
things on
things
there.
off. I like a
Yeah,
little,
right?
like, it feels so good to be like,
Like
did that,
done, done, done.
done,
It
done.
definitely
I
helps
also,
for someone like me who
yeah,
overthinks a lot. Writing stuff down definitely
yes.
pushes you. It motivates you because then if you're sitting there and you're like, I wrote this down, I want to get this done by this time, and you miss it, you're like, oh fuck. Like
Ah,
then
shit.
you're
Yeah.
then you want to go back and you're like, okay, next
Mhm.
time I'm getting this shit done like as quick as
Right.
possible.
That's how I try to live is like setting smaller achievable goals under the branches of big goals.
Yeah.
So then I feel like I'm getting stuff done because I am, and I'm working towards that big goal. And maybe the big goal is not something I can check off quite yet, but I made progress towards it. Because I think a lot of times with content creation, like, you set unrealistic expectations for yourself. Obviously, a lot can change in like a year of content creation, but also sometimes a lot doesn't change. A lot of these
Yeah.
big streamers have been streaming for 6, 7, 8 years, and they had years where it was stagnant and it was fine, but they pushed through that. And so I think just going back kind of on the discipline thing is that you have to remind yourself that even though right now you may not be seeing the results you want, that video might not have gone viral, this might have not done this, whatever, you have another chance tomorrow to keep on that train, keep being disciplined, keep being stubborn in your goals and in achieving them. And knowing that one day, like, it's going to be one day. If it's not today, it's tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it's the next day. Then so on and so forth. Like, taking it just a day at a time. I think demotivation is like the biggest killer of people's careers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is just getting so bogged down in the numbers. Because look, I'll be honest with you, you need to look at your numbers, and that's nothing anybody ever wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because when you're averaging just not as many views as you'd like to, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, like, why is it doing that? You think, okay, I'm turning my phone off, I'm done, I'm gonna go do something else. The people who are winners in the space and the people who succeed in the space are the people who go, okay, what did I do wrong here? How can I do it better next time? And then do it again the next day.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is how the highest achievers in the space have gotten to where they are. You know what I mean? In some form or capacity.
Okay. So
Right.
next question, and this is something I want to talk about from my POV first. So being
I'm
the
ready.
type of streamer that I am, I'd always get people who come to my chat because I'm not a very like animated person when I am gaming. I'm literally someone who's just like I look dead inside when I'm playing Rocket League most of the time. And so somebody actually came to my chat like last time, and I ended up scoring like a triple reset. And he's like, "Booma," he's like, "Just for once, can we see you like jump for joy when you score a goal?" And I was just like,
Listen,
"Damn."
be happy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to like. I mean, and I was like, it's understandable. So like next time I scored a goal, I did like a very over like fake, like I got out of
Yeah.
my chair, like threw my glasses off, like
Yeah.
just running around the room, like, and that's something that I didn't even really think about streaming this game. So if you could give some tips about being an entertainer and keeping like a natural flow for it, obviously because you don't want to be like overly faking every single like
Yeah.
you know, what tips would you give?
This is kind of a hard one for me to talk on because I just naturally am a very extroverted person, but I wasn't always like that. You know, like
Yeah,
growing up, I was always reading. I would check out 14 books from my public library a week, tear through them, go
damn,
back and do it again. You know what I mean? Like that was me as a kid, and I kind of got stuck in this rut in like middle school of being like, why am I not as social as everyone? Why am I not going to all these events? Why am I not doing this and that? And I just had to like fake it till I make it, you know, because I was very introverted. And I think I started in 8th grade too, which is crazy. I guess 8th grade was a life-changing year for me.
yeah,
Man, I guess that did it. But I remember coming in the first day of school and I was like, "It's going to be different this year, and I'm going to make it different." And so
yeah,
I went around and, like, spoke to everyone in the class that morning, and there was a new girl, and I was like, "Hey, like, what's your name?" Talked to her at a locker for a little bit, we ended up sitting together, and now she's my best friend, has been my best friend for several years, like, would be my maid of honor, like, just because I forced myself to be uncomfortable and put myself out there.
oh
And
yeah,
genuinely, from that year onwards, like I always made it a priority to talk to people and get to know as many people as I can and hear their stories and da 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 because that's what's interesting to me and that's something I
yeah.
love, right? And it was scary, and sometimes it still is scary. Like I am a very confident person. I feel like I could walk into any room and make some sort of friend or a connection or an acquaintance. You know what I mean? But I still do struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think as a creator, you do have to fake it till you make it, right? Like if you are sitting on stream and you're feeling just nervous and stressed, you're like, these people won't like me, blah, blah, blah. If someone doesn't like you, you're not for them, and that's something you have to be okay with. I'm a big people pleaser. I want everyone to like me. Not realistic. Genuinely, not realistic. Your content is not for everyone, and that's okay. Because then you think of like, okay, think of some big streamers like XQC. XQC is not for everyone. Some people don't like loud equals funny. Some people don't think he's funny. Like, he doesn't care. Bro does not care if you like him.
He's just
And
him.
that's okay. He's just him. That's what I'm saying. And you have to be, I think if you are fully yourself, you build a more genuine connection with your community and people who are very dedicated to your stream and to your viewership. I have a lot of my mods and a lot of my viewers are people that have been here since I was 13 streaming on my Xbox playing fucking Far Cry Primal. Like
The day ones,
that's the
baby.
community. So just being number 1 tip, being fully and naturally yourself, no matter what that means, right?
Yeah.
Just be
Genuine.
yourself, and your community will follow that, being genuine. If I meet one of my viewers in person, I want them to feel like it's the same person. I don't want them to be
Yeah,
like,
exactly right.
"You're so different IRL,"
Why are you different
because
on
that's
stream? Yeah.
I don't want that to I never want that to be a thing.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you are struggling to talk, that's perfectly okay and that's perfectly normal. I think that's a problem with a lot of people at the beginning. It was a problem for me because seeing strangers comment on my life and talk to me on the internet, like that was weird for me. But sticky notes, going back to these stupid things, game changer in content creation. I used to put sticky notes at the top of my monitor of like different conversation starters of things that happened today, like, "Oh, today I had a sub sandwich and it was really good. What's your favorite sub?" Like, you can make any little tidbit into a conversation, and if I'd be talking and, like, the natural flow of conversation stopped, I'd like, "Okay, look over my sticky note, say something off the sticky note, and keep the conversation going," right? But I
Yeah.
also if you're just starting streaming, there's not somebody in your chat, that's okay too. You also have to learn how to talk to yourself.
Oh
That's
yeah.
something I still struggle with. I am still bad at that. Like, I talk to myself all the time when I'm just existing in my house off stream, you know, I'm like, "I need to do this." I'm just like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just talking. So so if you're good at talking to yourself, girl,
Yeah.
streaming might be the career for you. But just being able to make conversation when there's not necessarily something there, and the second a new viewer comes in chat, being like, "Hey, how are you? Welcome to the stream," da da da, and being very excited and genuine that they're there. When people feel recognized, they want to connect with you, like they want to be there with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, as for being an entertainer, watch some of your favorite streamers and your favorite creators and see what they do. See like what about their stream do I like? What can I emulate? Do not copy. Do not be a carbon copy of
Yeah.
random streamer. Like don't do that. But emulate the experience you get in their chat and your chat, right? So what I like to do at the beginning is I'd watch some streamers I enjoy and I would write down their name and I would write down, okay, I enjoyed this part of their stream and this is what they did and this is why it made me feel the way I did. You know what I mean? So it's like I was like, okay, what can I do to invoke the feeling of laughter? Like what silly thing can I do to make people laugh? What thing can I do that makes people smile? Like just kind of emulating feelings that other people's streams give and not necessarily like emulating their content. But I think
Yeah.
that's a way to really understand how to be entertaining or to your audience because some people don't want to be entertaining. Like for some people, that is not the vibe of their stream. They want to be informative. They want to be this and that. So I think really looking at people who are masters in their craft. Aha, funny.
Love
Um,
it.
I'm looking at people who are masters in their craft and emulating the feeling that you get when you're in their stream
Yeah.
onto your stream. I think that's a really good way to grow and just feeling confident in yourself. You know,
In the gaming and streaming world, there's always talk about burnout, right? How do you keep yourself grounded and how do you keep yourself motivated?
I keep myself grounded by reminding myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
be grateful about it. Yes.
straight yes, being extremely grateful. I've actually started journaling every morning recently and it's been helping me a lot because one of the prompts, it's called the 5-minute journal. Saw it on TikTok like a year ago, bought it because I have a problem with buying things. And I
Same.
really didn't use it until somewhat recently. And one of the prompts is like 3 things you're grateful for this morning. And really trying to look at everything in this gratitude mindset has changed a lot about the way I act throughout my day and get to go
Yeah.
about my day. Because there's so many things that I am privileged enough to get to do and like the life I get to live, like I'm very privileged in what I get to do. And I just feel like
Sure.
I really need to appreciate that. Cause like whenever I find myself complaining about something, I'm like, okay, one, is it that serious? No, it's never that serious. Two, would somebody else kill to have this problem? Yes. Because it's always something small, but it can feel really overwhelming in the moment. So just like streaming and after like a really bad stream, being like, dang, that stream was not great for me. Like viewership was really low, really didn't make any money off it. Like it was just really not a great stream. And
Yeah.
I remind myself, like, okay, you are lucky to be in any sort of position you're in to be able to stream anywhere, be able to stream like full time through college. Like you are lucky to be signed to an org. Like reminding myself all of the things that yes, I have worked for them, obviously, like I've put in the work, but also remind myself that somebody else would kill to have that opportunity. You know what I mean? And be like
Yeah.
being
Sure.
grateful for the opportunity you've been giving. That really helps me with burnout because it's like, while yes, I'm tired, yes, I'm exhausted, I know that I'm working towards like the person I want to be in the life I want to lead. And that's honestly enough motivation for me is just thinking about the future. I imagine myself showing up as my best self every day and
Yeah.
doing small little habits and small little things that'll make me become that person and who I want to be in the future. And before you know it, like you will be that person, that'll be you. So just envisioning you as your highest self and your best self, like I think that really
Yes.
helps me with burnout and just understanding like that I am lucky. I'm very lucky to be able to be where I am, get to do what I do, and I do love it. Like the second I remind myself all the people I've gotten to meet, the things I've got to experience, like that grounds me enough to be like, okay, you had a bad day today, and that's okay. Tomorrow will be better. And if tomorrow's not better, then the next day will, and the next day. And that's like a common theme, I think, throughout this interview, something we've talked
Yeah.
about is just like having faith that the next day will be better and working towards making that next day better in whatever ways are controllable to you. Because at the end of the day, like I can't control my view count well within reason. I can't be like, I want 80 viewers this day. You know what I mean? That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. I can't decide that.
Yeah.
I can work towards things to get to that goal. However, I can't. That's not within my power. And so that's not something I allow myself to stress about. Obviously, everyone wants to see you stream and they want to see you and be there in your content, but you also they know you're human too, and you have to allow yourself to be human and feel any emotions that might be feeling, feel things out. Like sometimes you just need to go for a walk. Sometimes you just need a water. Sometimes you need a
Yep.
nap. And whatever that may be, like take that time to really do that self-care. I think getting 1% better every day. That's something someone told me several years ago. It's in some book somewhere, some self-help book, but it
Yeah.
really I wake up every morning thinking that, I can do something 1% better today, and over time that is exponential growth.
Okay,
So for me.
so to the final question, Hana, there are tons of people who want to pursue careers within streaming and
Mhm.
gaming. If you were gonna give like just three massive important tips of advice, what would you give?
My number 1 is always be delusional, and that sounds
I
crazy, and
like
every
that.
time I say it,
I
someone's
like that.
like, "Okay, whatever, Hana." But I'm telling you, like, I am like, "Haha, I'm delusional" as, like, a funny joke, whatever, but also, I do act delusional as a person and as a creator. Like, I think you have to succeed in this space is just being like even if when you start at 0 viewers, you have to be like, "There's people out there who wanna watch this. There's people out there who will discover me. I will be the best at this. I will be great at this. Like, and
Yeah.
motivating yourself by it's like manifestation, but saying delusional is more funny and a little bit more attention grabby. You know what I mean? So I always lead with being delusional, but really just deluding yourself into thinking like this is a way I stick on schedules, thinking, okay, people are counting on me, people know I'm gonna be streaming at this time, they want to be there, they know I'm gonna be there, like this is something you have to do. And it really motivates me to like be there because people are expecting it. And even if they're not actually expecting it, me in my brain is like, oh, well, they're expecting it. Gotta be there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I think people when they're starting streaming, I think one of the big mistakes people make is not treating it like a job. If you want it to be a job, have
Yeah.
fun with it. However, you need to take it seriously. You need to pursue it and you need to put in hours if that's what you want to do. If you just want to be a casual creator, that's completely different. Don't listen to a word I just said.
Yeah.
But if you want this to be real for you, like you do need to show up and say you are working at a 9 to 5 and you have a meeting. You're not just gonna not show up
To
because
the
you
meeting.
don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're getting paid. Your boss is gonna be like, "What the hell?" Right? And with streaming, it's the same thing. If you set a stream for 5 p.m., you know where you're gonna be? You're gonna be in that stream. You just need to be there. Like, it's the same
Mhm.
thing. I think people need to take a lot of the skills and just like I don't want to say discipline because I don't really like that word, but discipline that they've learned and taken from other traditional jobs and apply it to streaming. I think you'll see a lot more success in that field. So, number one, being delusional.
Delusional.
Number two, network your ass off. Talk to people. I used to really get
Yes.
stuck in this like fear that people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're just leeching off me. Oh, you're trying to get da 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 da."
Yeah.
People can tell when you're a little clout chaser. People can tell. People see it. You can just tell as a creator once you've been doing it long enough. You can tell when somebody's just being like, "Will you please do this so
They're
I can
being
put your name
upfront.
on this video?" Like you
Yeah.
can tell, girl. But if you're just genuinely trying to be friends with people, like send that DM. Network. Talk to people.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna change number two from network to don't count yourself out before someone else does. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Like you are probably the thing holding yourself back from opportunities, right? Like I
For sure.
I sent a DM to Ghost in 2021 pitching myself. Girl, that
Wow.
did not get a single response. That was zero acknowledgement, right? And I was like, you know what? L. They posted something about we're signing creators. Me commenting on that, me 6 months later here, a
Yep.
creator. You know what I mean? Like
You were there to take that opportunity when it came up.
you have to take every opportunity you can and you have to pitch yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, then why the hell should these people believe in you?
Exactly.
Right? Like, I am not world's biggest creator. I do not average 80 bajillion trillion viewers, but I believe in myself and my content and my vibes and my stream and my community enough to throw myself to these opportunities, even if I may not be the most qualified number wise. Don't
Yeah.
count yourself out just for numbers on things. Like, with Creator U, I applied to Creator U and I was like, there is no way in hell these people like me at all. They're reviewing applications. I made top 24 and they were like, you had a really impressive application. We really liked your video. We really liked your vibes. And I was like, wow, like people will acknowledge your hard work if you put it out there for them. So you need to
Yeah.
stop counting yourself out from opportunities because you don't think you're good enough, don't think you're funny enough, or don't think you're whatever enough. Like that's not you and your content are enough. There's always room for growth. But do not be the reason that you do not get an opportunity is because you're scared, you're nervous, you're not confident. Like fake it until you make it.
I feel
Fake
like
it.
if you go
Shoot
in
your
with the
shot.
if you go in with the mindset that you're gonna fail, like I'll tell you right now, you're gonna
You're
fail
gonna
regardless. So it's like you can't have that fear of oh my video's gonna flop or I'm not good enough to do this,
exactly.
do that. Like you gotta have the confidence. And that's
Exactly.
why I really love the be delusional about it because like if you don't even believe in your content, then who the fuck else is going to,
Why
right?
should random Twitch
Yeah,
chatter from
exactly.
Minnesota care about you? Like
Yeah,
they shouldn't.
it's extremely true.
And like people are so scared to hear someone say no.
Yeah,
People say no to me all the time. But I don't care because that's not that big of a problem. You just move on.
yeah,
Right? Like just you have to be okay with somebody saying no to you. Like take the no. Rejection is redirection. You got rejected from something. It wasn't your time. It wasn't meant for you now. It may be meant for you later. It may be for another opportunity to be presented to you. You know what I mean? So like be okay with somebody telling you no. Be okay with being rejected. Be okay with applying for things. Like just apply. Send a DM. What are they going to do? Not respond? Okay, awesome. Great. Move on. Bye.
Then we hit the Rocket League
Bye.
terminology. GG, go next, regain, lock in,
GG,
let's
go
go.
next, regain. Exactly.
It's time to move,
regain.
baby.
Actually, regain is like such a meme, but it is such good advice. Like, genuinely.
Fair.
Okay, you failed. Awesome.
Regain, bro.
Go next. That's crazy advice.
I like that.
Even though it's like dumb gamer terminology, but it's true. Like, you need to. 2B. Be ready to learn. Be okay with learning.
Yeah.
Learn all the information you can. Watch industry experts speak. Watch creators speak. Like, be okay with improving. Be ready to learn. I couldn't really expand on that, so I don't want that to be my last banger.
Yeah.
Okay. My banger, maybe. Don't know.
The banger.
It's a banger in my head.
The banger.
I'm ready. Number 3, number C, letter C, whatever. Last one.
Final one.
Bring yourself a seat to the table. That sounds stupid, but
that's good.
If there is not a space for you, you need to create that space. Because chances are, if there's not a space for you in somewhere, there's not a space for other people as well. So being able to create a space to where you can flourish and you can thrive, right? Like, nobody is just going to give you a seat at the table of successful people unless you show you can bring something to the table. And if they don't want you at that table, then bitch, you go make your own table.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that sounds stupid, but you need to be aware of your own worth as a creator and as a person, right? In getting invited to events and getting invited to things, right? And if it's not your scene and it's not your vibe and it's not something that you think is going to bring value to you and your community, or you're not going to bring value to the people over there, then you need to go somewhere else. You need to go somewhere else. You need to be okay with not always being in the mainstream space. I think that's something very important, right? Like, and also, if there's not a space for you, you just need to create one, which sounds stupid and which sounds dumb. But I found, like, at the very beginning of my little Rocket League journey moment, there weren't a lot of big women RL streamers. Like, at the time, it was like Athena, Kia, Haley, and God, I want to say that's it. Like, in 2017, 2018, like, that's what I saw, right? And so now there weren't really those spaces for the women in the Rocket League scene, and they've created it. We now have so many wonderful, amazing female creators. We have WCB, like, we have all of these things. There wasn't space, and they created one, right? So being able to acknowledge, like, okay, this is a problem here. We need to create this space for people that they can also belong to, you know? But, like, going back to the having a seat at the table, like, you have something to prove as a new creator, and that sounds bad. Like, you shouldn't want to prove anything to anybody, but you have something to prove.
Prove it to yourself, even if you're not gonna. Yeah, even if you're not gonna prove it to other people, prove it to yourself.
Exactly. I had somewhere I was going with this. I don't even know where. But just be aware of your self-worth. You know what I mean, and be aware of what you bring to the table as a creator, and your value through that. I think a lot of people undersell themselves or sell themselves short. I struggle with this a lot. Like, I feel crazy imposter syndrome all the time. Like, especially when we were at Boston, like, someone asked me to sign their controller, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Like,
You're like,
I
me?
I had a right, and it's like, I don't know, like, things like that feel surreal, but moments like that make me realize, like, I'm doing something here, I'm working towards something here, and there is potential here, and I'm realizing the value in myself. So I'm not accepting, like, share my energy tub, like, the energy tub G Fuel partners, whatever the fuck. Like, no hate here. But I'm no longer accepting collaborations for a 3% discount code and 25% commission. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not available for that, because that's not the thing I want to portray to my community. That's not. I bring more to the table than you trying to earn 25 cents off me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think just being aware of your value is really what I was going with that.
Yeah. All right, sweet guys. That is going to do it for us. It is going to wrap up the very first debut episode of Masters of the Craft. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and hit the sub button. Don't forget, this is episode 1, so there's a lot more to come in the future. I'm very excited for what this series is going to become. Thank you so much, Miss Hana, for taking the time. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being part of the series. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end?
You guys are all awesome, and if you don't subscribe to him, you need to now. Otherwise, I'll be really sad, and it'll be sad. So don't. You just need to sub.
All right, you guys can check out all of Hana's socials in the description below. It is Hana, not Hannah. Get it right.
Yeah. What
and
about
that's gonna do it. Peace.